Hello everyone, welcome to episode 5 of my Transport Fever 2 series. Today we're going to be working on the final station and a couple of branch lines out of that. So come with me today and let's get building. We've got a lot on the agenda here today, so we're going to start with adding a couple of trains onto our passenger line here. With these on the line, we're going to increase our rate and hopefully profits. Let's get these out of the depot here. And the second train will actually flip around to help space them out a little bit. Just gotta wait for the first one to clear here. Here we go. We'll need to look at upgrading these later as well. Okay, he's past the junction here, so we can flip him around and send him on his way. Over to St. Ives here, we can see that our lines are doing quite nicely. Oil line making a lot of profit. And back over at Kingston here, we don't need to, but we're going to look at upgrading this station finally. So we'll go into a time lapse now and let's get this done. Okay, so that's all done. Basically just slapped a bunch of buildings on it, so nothing too fancy. We still got to do a little bit of upgrading still. Got to fix up the town and the roads as well. Otherwise this is looking a much nicer entrance into the town now for the trains. Okay, this is looking a bit odd here, so we'll remove these roofs off the platforms. I'm going to replace the underground connections a bit further down the platform. Okay, that should space that out quite nicely. I don't know if we're going to be using that second track just yet. Now for the roads, need to get some extra connectivity onto this station. Luckily Kingston has already expanded a little bit here. This is going to take it back a little bit, but it'll allow the buildings to grow up closer to the station, so we won't need as many buses later down the track. For now, we'll just use the existing roads to connect on here quickly. And now we can go back and remove them now. We'll add a quick connection across here. And a nice upgrade for the station here. We'll be doing something similar to this to all the other stations eventually. For now though, I think it's time we finish the double tracking the line. We've only got 50 million sitting in the bank, so we should have just enough. I kid. Of course, we'll have plenty of money left over after this. Okay, we'll fix up the signals as usual, just get them a bit closer to each other. Currently no train issues from changing that around. And we've just unlocked a new train and a tram, but we won't be playing with trams for a while. Starting by our average size tunnel here, we need to get our double tracking completed. We now have plenty of money saved up. Just going to get this quickly done before we move on to getting the final station in. Just to make sure this connects across here smoothly with no issues with the bridges, which looks all good. Fix up those signals. Connect on this line before we have any issues. There we go. And looks like all the trains are still moving along. We're getting passengers at all these stations, which is very nice. Okay, last bridge to the double track. Thankfully no clipping, so no needing to reposition the tracks. I'll lay this down before any trains complain too much. Looks like we've got no issues there now. Okay, the final station. So we're going to be placing in the center of the town as usual, and we're going to our time lapse here and get this done. With the town and station now complete, we'll move on to getting our first branch into this town. I'll swing past the coal here and just sort of judge the height we need to travel up to get the same lives here. So I want to sort of come out on an angle here where it's going to hug the mountain very slightly. But we do want to try to avoid as much bridge as possible because we're probably going to get a big bridge rather over this gully, if we can call it that. So we get a small tunnel there. We want to probably hug this a bit closer to keep this on the on ground level. Okay, and this is where our big bridge is going to come through. So we are running a bit high there, so we're going to flatten it out a little bit. Looks like the bridge will not destroy any of the farmland. Going straight through here and into a tunnel. Still at about the right level, but a little bit higher to connect a bit sooner. It'll also allow us to come out of the tunnel a bit quicker here too. So I'd rather this be at least one tunnel and then stay up. It looks like we might get a couple of the small ones here. So we want to stay out now. We don't want to keep going in and out. So it's still a little bit low here to connect onto the main track here. So we might actually just create our connection point first. We want to make sure that this is either on the flat or going down though. Alright. With the little start there, we'll be able to snap onto this here. We're going to force this to be outside of the tunnel. And then we can create our junction. Okay, now we just want to make sure we can create a connection point here because we are only going to be wanting one train to start with. So we can merge this back into one track. Just want to make sure we're doing this in the smoothest way possible, which works quite nice there. And that'll do for our signals. Gonna need probably a few more in between the station, but that'll be fine. Okay. Second last passenger line coming in now. This will just be a shuttle back and forth between St. Ives Okay. Now time for the train. I'm going to still use the same depot. Eventually what we want to do is probably have either a depot more in the middle or a depot at each end. Just go for a couple of carriages here as well because it shouldn't be too busy. But we can easily update that later. Okay. Now for the route that's probably I'm most excited for out of these two. Because this one's going to end up winding through the mountains here, along the road. So it should leave quite an interesting journey. Small bits of tunnel. I don't know if I like that going across there. Might be better if we actually cross over the road here. I reckon that'd be quite nice. Should lead to a smaller bridge as well. Then we can hug the mountain. Just need to cut this back a bit. Okay, now we should be able to curve around that bit quite nicely. Let's just make sure we get the height correct though. Don't want to overdo it or underdo it. And have a big lump at the end. Looks like we're going to get another small tunnel here. We're going to keep the speed around the 100 mark. Gonna have to come back and fix that level crossing up. And with the fact, we'll get that done now. Just a nice easy curve into there, so it makes a nice smooth crossing. Okay, we might have to get rid of some of the roads here. Just make the approach a little bit easier. And like the last station, we're going to work on the junction first. Move the signals out of the way. A bit closer to the station, and now we should be able to slide out from here. Second connection, and we'll just pop that in there. Now we should have enough room to make a second connection here. Assuming we don't get some fighting. If anyone knows how to do this any better, because this happens very often for me. Get it at an end. There we go. Nice simple junction. So yeah, I'd say the this route's turned out quite nice. Nice little bridge over the road in the middle there. Couple short tunnels. Right, another point-to-point service. I know it's still on the same track, but at least that way to put the passengers on each different platform so they have their own passenger storage, so to speak. Here we'll have the main platform be on the right, but if that is occupied, they can go on the left-hand side. I'm thinking we may not go for these carriages here. We might go for the quicker trains, the quicker carriage. It's going to give us a bit more oomph up and down this hill. And let it fly. Okay, with that line now up and started, we're going to look at upgrading our trains for the main line. So we're going to increase the speed here, and we're going to probably stick to 3 carriages, I'm thinking. Yeah, 3 carriages. Because I don't think we need to exceed the capacity that much. So it'll be just under the capacity that we currently have. However, they are running quicker. So they're getting an additional 15 kilometers in all directions. And we can up this later as well. Okay, now I did notice this sort of unnecessary bridge here, and I want to probably make a little plateau, so to speak. So we're going to get rid of the bridge here, and I'm going to put this back in and force this to landscape only. Then we're just going to level out the inside of the mountain here. So the drop off will still be on the right there, but the left hand side of the track here will be smooth, which I think looks a lot nicer there. And then it goes into the main bridge. Thank you all for watching again. I appreciate all the views and the likes that have been coming through. If you are enjoying, yeah, please do like and subscribe if possible. I do like to know it's appreciated, and again, any suggestions, please let me know. That's all for today though, guys, so take care and see you all in the next one.